What's going on, everybody? We are out here, hole number 5, for this week's soggy episode of Dissecting the Ridge with Rob Taylor. Rob, how you doing, buddy?
Excellent. Important hole today.
So it is it's been a wet one the last few days.
Sure has.
We've had a bunch of rain, but kind of what we were saying in a couple of our videos before, Lester's doing a great job finding a bunch of drains and getting the course to drain a little bit. But we are out here, hole number 5, like we said, which might be one of the more controversial holes here on Cherokee Ridge. And it's a love it or hate it hole, I think, right?
It's love it or hate it, depending on what you made the last time you played it. I feel like that's pretty common. If you make a double bogey on it, you probably don't like it. If you made a birdie on it, then you probably are a fan of it. So we'll see how we feel about this hole after we play today.
It is definitely it's a par 5, pretty lengthy par 5 for Cherokee Ridge standards.
Yeah.
And but it is, I consider, like target golf, right? Like you're not taking driver off the tee.
Right.
You know, it's almost like you got to put the first one in play, and then from there you're basically just hitting something down there to give yourself a wedge range. Yeah.
I mean, it's for us, for you and I both, Pete. I think we're trying to get it as far down on the flat as we can, and there's a certain yardage. It's probably 200 and 30, 40 yards from back here, where if you hit it any further than that, there's just no room to hit it. So you want to kind of get as close to that number as you can without going over it, and be on the flat on the top of the hill. And then from there, actually, if you have the right angle, you can still, it's way downhill in the second shot. So even though it might play 270 yards, it might say it's 270 yards, it realistically only plays like 245, 250. So it's still reachable in two for the longer hitters if you can get it down there far enough. Everybody else, once you get that ball in play off the tee, out to the left. There's tons of room over there in the landing area. It's flat. Everything feeds back to the fairway. So if you hit it far enough left in the second shot, and we'll show you when we get up there, the second shot is the one that I see. The tee shot's hard, there's no doubt about it. But if you get that tee shot in play, I see so many guys end up right on this hole. And there's no reason in the world to be right over here in two.
Yeah, so, I mean, similar to a handful of Cherokee Ridge tee shots, I mean, there's trouble right and left. This is definitely a tighter golf course than, some may be used to, but, this tee shot in particular, there's OB left, and then there's hazard right. So it's a lateral hazard all down the right side. So basically the
penalty area.
The penalty area, not called a hazard anymore. But the target is that tall pine tree right there, right? If you can get that ball just short of that tall pine tree, you're pretty ideal for this particular hole. And then we also, because we're advancing here on Dissecting the Ridge, we now have proper yardages that we can get of everybody, and so we'll see. So
I brought the Mevo out today just because, out of curiosity. I haven't really run with it in a while. Different times of year, I like to get different data because things change. The weather, conditions, things like that will dramatically impact how far your clubs are flying, spin rates, and all that. So we're just getting some information today while we shoot.
So before you hit real quick, Rob, like on a day like today, it is, we could kind of see the fog out in the distance. It's 10, 11 o'clock, and it feels like it's still 7 in the morning.
Right.
We've had a bunch of rain. I'm assuming you're losing distance. I'm assuming, the ball's going to react a little differently.
It's not that cold, so you're not going to lose much distance. Even with the fog, the air, they say, is heavier, but humidity actually helps, especially if you get enough spin. It keeps the ball in the air. As opposed to thinner air, the ball just kind of comes out of the sky. So we should be pretty much standard on yardages today, because we are almost to 70 degrees today.
Yeah, it's close. I mean, there's a little briskness in the air just because it's wet, but
so I'm going to play everything as like stock yardages. So it's a little different than some of the other videos we've done, because today we can actually hit pretty normal clubs. Obviously it's wet, so we're not going to get as much rollout, so it's going to be more focused on carry distances and flying the ball to the hole and flying the ball to the areas we want to hit it to. So well, that's that.
Give it a go.
All
so
right,
you're still up 2. We've tied the last 2 holes with pars. So
hitting the 2-piece,
little 2-dimer there.
Hot sauce, as we like to say down in Florida.
I was looking at the Mevo, so I have no idea where that went. But you're still looking at it.
I don't know.
It's gonna be close?
Yeah.
Well, yardage-wise, it was pretty good. I mean, you carried 223 with a ball speed of 142, but he's already heading back towards the cart, so it could be good news for me.
All right, Pete, what do you got? Same thing?
I got a good-looking shirt on. As you could tell, me and Rob,
we shop at the same store.
Yeah. But, yes, I have my little driving iron that I hit on, should have hit on 3.
Is it a 2-piece or a 3-piece?
It's 18 degree.
Okay.
So whatever that's going to be.
2-piece.
I think it's probably around 2. So, but similar to what Rob was saying, I'm just trying to get this one in play, be able to hit the next one.
My ball, by the way, was hugging the left side. Questionable. Sounded good.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that one. What's the Mevo say?
Let's check out the data on that one there. Boom, bam. Over 100 club, 231.6 carry yardage there.
That's why you eat your Wheaties, fellas.
145 smash is not bad. Not bad. Spins a little high, but Pete spins it a lot. So, how'd you feel about that one, Pete?
You know, out of all the drives we've hit so far in the Dissecting the Ridge, coming right out of the office, that was probably I was happiest with that one. It was dead down the middle, had a little tiny baby draw to it, but I think I'm actually in better shape than you are.
Beauty. I think so too. Real quick, guys, when you're on hole 5 here, this is our rest area. So want to make sure everybody stays hydrated out here. There is a water station out there, so make sure when you're on hole 5 that you stop and you grab some water. Thoughts?
PSA from Rob Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, so off the tee here on 5. I mean, that's about as
yeah.
What time did we call each other last night?
Well, look, I got the Duck Hookers hat on today. Shout out to the Duck Hookers Battle of the Ridge hat. And I also have my training.
I was going to ask you about the glove, so it's actually pretty ESP there.
2 knuckles, green. And when I set up to the ball, means that's my grip. My grip is neutral and good. If you start seeing more or less, then that's why yellow, red there, if you're really torquing it. I use this for some lessons when I get guys that have really strong grips, and I try and get them used to seeing, okay, if I can see all 4 knuckles in my hand when I'm set up to the ball, then my grip's probably too strong. So,
and speaking of lessons, we're gonna cheap plug Rob Taylor real quick.
Yeah.
Holiday time.
Holiday
season. What you got going for all us guys that need lessons out there?
Well, we got the holiday package, 45 minutes full swing, 30 minutes short game, with video analysis, and that is $125. Great stocking stuffer. We can do a nice little certificate you can stick in there, and other than that, we're working on getting. I have the Mevo that we just saw on the tee there, which can give us some good data, but we're trying to get hold of something that has a little more data to it. But even with the Mevo, I like to do something called club mapping every once in a while, which is kind of what I talked about. I hit a series of shots with each club in my bag and go all the way through the bag and average out. You take out the outliers and you average out the distances, and it gives me an actual a very dead on idea of how far I'm hitting each club. And I think that's huge for guys that are looking to improve their game, because you find that a high percentage of amateur golfers, especially, they have a thought in their mind that they hit their clubs further than they actually do. And they also, I say this almost every video, and I will say this again. If you have one time in the last 7 rounds hit your 7-iron 150 yards, but the rest of them went 130 because you mishit them, you don't hit your 7-iron 150 yards. So this is a great way to see if you hit a series of shots with each club, you get an average of what everyone hits, because you're not hitting them off the center of the face. Nobody is. And it's a good way to figure out when you're on the golf course, be realistic with yourself about what club you should actually be hitting in that situation. So the club mapping is something we're going to start doing, I think, once we get settled in with what kind of launch monitor we're going to have, or if we do it with the Mevo, that's fine. It works perfectly fine for it. And we'll set up something with that as far as a club mapping package.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, and this is kind of, terms that you hear on the golf course when you're like, hey, what yardage is, hey, it's a stock 7-iron, right? Like, it's a stock this, it's a stock that. And that mapping helps out with that, right? Like, so if you know if you're sitting 140 yards, you know exactly what club you should hit. Now, whether or not you mishit it, or maybe, you catch a little breeze, or you turn it over a little bit, it might alter it a little bit.
Yeah,
but the key that I have found as an amateur golfer, when I play better, I'm lessening my miss, right? Like, I'm, going from, kind of knowing that, okay, hey, if I hit this, worst case scenario, I'll be in the middle of the green. Worst case scenario, I'll be front of the green. Worst case scenario, I'll be this. And you tend to score better because you're not trying to really muscle one, and then you kind of block it to the right, and then you're dead behind a tree, and then that's where those doubles and triples come into play.
That's where you favor the center of the green as an amateur golfer. Most guys should favor the center of the green. So if the flag's in the back, what's the club that you can hit where if you absolutely hammer it, it's going to get to the flag, and if you miss it, you're going to be in the center of the green below the hole. And conversely, if the pin's in the front of the green, what's the club that if you absolutely hammer it, you're going to be in the middle of the green, and if you don't quite catch it, you're going to be around the pin. That's what you see. I mean, how many times have you played golf with your buddies, and every single one of you has been in the same spot? Every single one of you has come up short on a front pin. Everybody's short.
And we like to blame other factors, right? Like, oh, the wind got it, or
hit it
heavy, ball's terrible, what have you. But sometimes you grab the wrong stick.
That's just textbook. I mean, that's just course management, knowing your clubs, what club you hit, how far, and managing your expectations on the golf course is going to help you play better golf.
Well, speaking of expectations, it looks like I'm expectations a little better than your expectations.
Pete's in the fairway, and I am in the left rough, but not bad at kick down, so I can still hit it. We're good.
Yep. All right, so we found Rob, little left, but it looked like you felt like you missed that pretty far left. And
well, about what I thought. It was kind of at the tree line to start, and it was drawing a little bit, and it probably clipped the trees behind us and just kind of rolled down to here. It's not great. It's not ideal. Obviously, I'd rather be in the fairway. It's actually
where I am. I'm in the fairway. Reminder.
So if you see on the left side here, you can't see over that hill what's going on over there, but if you see the mountain in the background with the fog hanging over it, just a beautiful shot, by the way. That's kind of my intended target line. I have to hit it over there because now I'm not able to go really towards the green. And you'll see why when we get down there. Lot going on the right side of this golf hole.
So this is what they call a blind shot. So basically you're picking a target and you're going after that target rather than, like you said, going after the green or kind of going at the hole.
Right. So I have some things working against me here. Realistically, I kind of have to draw this ball to keep it back in the fairway on the left side because I don't want to go down the right. It just kicks off over there. So got kind of a hanging lie out of the rough. and I need to try and draw it. So I'm going to have to actually hit a pretty good golf shot here just to lay it back up into a decent position.
So amateur golfer, 20 handicap, 15 handicap, you're in this position. Everything's going to feed to the right? So you don't want to just punch out to the right because then you're going to be in the hazard. So is the play here try to hug that tree line with a little punch and let gravity and kind of the mountain take it down to playable position?
So, again, this is not an easy shot no matter how you slice it up, and that's why guys will play this hole and feel like maybe they didn't do anything too terribly bad and they still walk off with a bogey or double. If I were the amateur player, so I shot that tree that's on the right side of the fairway, the closest one to me over there, going towards the green. It's 150 yards there. Anything left of that and anything further than 150 yards is a good shot. So that's what I would consider if I'm going to hit a ball here is, okay, I don't want to go crazy, but if I hit my 3-wood 150 yards, then you have to kind of just hit a good shot. There's no way around it. You can't really fake this shot, fake it on this hole. You have to step up and just be confident, try and hit a good shot. There's nothing I can tell you here that will help you manage this anymore because you just have to hit it to a specific area, and you can't really cheat this one. You gotta hit a good one.
Well, I'm down 2 right now, so hopefully this might be a little door for me to gain one back.
So I'm gonna make sure I have decent footing here.
And what you're doing is all legal, right? Like these are all considered loose impediments.
Absolutely.
You can
all
move
loose impediments. You can move all this stuff around. You can get your leaf blower out here and blow it around. The rules change too. You can actually remove loose impediments in a bunker or a penalty area now, which is a lot different than in the past. Gave myself the best lie I possibly could here. Everything's clear. I don't have any acorns or anything sitting around my ball that's going to make anything funny happen. Again, it's a downhill lie. Everything's going this way, and I need to turn this ball over right to left, or worst case scenario, hit a straight shot low and to the left. I'm going to hit my...
And as you can see, it is very wet, so we are car path only, and that's where our vehicle is at, still in the car path.
I'm going to hit a 4-iron here, and I'm going to aim it, like I said, at the mountain up there, right smack kind of at the peak of that mountain, and just try and turn it over as much as I can, but hit it as far left as I can without turning it over, so that even if I hit it straight, I'm still in play.
Little nippage of that one little branch, but I think, to be honest with you, I think you're gonna be fine.
Yeah,
I think
it was actually pretty good. I was trying to go, I just barely clipped the bottom of that the tiniest little branch there on that tree, but I was trying to go under that, so it just kind of went a little higher than I expected.
All right, well, it looks like you got wedge in, so you're back in play.
Back in play.
See what I can do.
Pete's turn. All right, here we go. Pete's getting set up for shot 2 from position A in the fairway here.
So as similar to Rob, this is just a blind shot that I too am taking 4-iron. Just there's don't really have the game to be the hero and try to take that 2-iron, or if I had a 3-wood in the bag. And then it's also sometimes a fuller shot, especially in this sort of weather, to me, is easier than trying to hit that half little baby wedge. So if I can give myself a full wedge shot right here, that's gonna be my goal. But I'm basically just aiming right at that pine tree right over top of the hill, and so let her go.
You can see from here this tree that's on the right hand side I'm looking at right there, and the tree line on the left hand side over here that we're looking at. Right in between there, dead in the middle where the peak of that mountain is prime.
So I did what we shouldn't do is block it out to the right a little bit. And so it's kind of like all depend on, did I get it far enough down there But that, with that been the lie I had a little downhill, give me some coach right here.
Well, downhill lie, it's harder to. So two things can happen there, and it kind of depends on caliber of player more than anything. Is a good player will make an adjustment in setup, get a little bit closer to the ball, aim a little further left, and just work with the ground and swing the club out to try and make sure that they don't get it heavy. Or just block it straight out to the right. So you have to aim left. You have to just continue to swing down that line. And the other thing that can happen if you're too far away from the ball and you're trying to hit it off a downslope is the heel can dig and you can actually just straight pull it left.
Well, I wish you would have told me that 35 seconds ago before I just blocked this right. But the ball flight went right over top of the pine that Rob was kind of aiming at over there.
Yeah,
so,
this
like I said, depending on how far I got it down there, I didn't hit it terrible. That it either could be fairly good or could be really trouble. So we'll find out when we get down there.
So this tree right here is kind of the guiding tree for the second shot. You need to be left of that, and there's plenty of room over here. And anything left of that tree, 30, 40 yards left of it, is still perfectly fine. Everything goes back to the fairway. The fairway is pretty wide down there. So when you get to Cherokee Ridge and you're hitting your second shot on hole 5, find that tree and work left of it.
All right, so I'm assuming I had to hit one of these pine trees. We have hazard that I may actually lucked out, stayed out of, but I have 139 yards. Ball is going to be well below my feet. This is just kind of what we talked about before, where I am not pin seeking by any means. I'm just trying to give myself opportunity at par.
Great shot there.
Yeah, so I'm about, looks like 25 feet just right of the pin from this position. Ecstatic with that. I mean, that's not as good as I was going to do. So, yeah, I got a birdie putt. First birdie putt of the of Dissecting the Ridge for me. So that's a plus. And we get to watch the gorgeous waterfall. So
yeah. So Pete did everything right there. He played the lie accordingly. I tried to get over and get his foot line and where his club was aiming, but he was aimed left of the green and just kind of let the club get through the ball.
Actually, the ball started kind of left of the flag and it ended up right of the flag.
Correct.
So,
correct. It was played appropriately. You'd see a lot of guys here, they just take their normal stance and aim it in the normal spot and wonder why, they either dug the heel in the ground and hit it way left or shot it way right. So
yeah, I've seen many guys out here from kind of this position hit that pine tree right in front of the green. So
that's right.
That is very common. But,
play the lie.
Like I said, I'm happy with what we're at. Rob, we walked by Rob's ball. It's in the middle of the fairway, so he put himself back in good position. So I'm sure we'll see a good golf shot here in a second. So Rob put himself back in great position. 121 yards, you said?
121 yards.
And he is aiming. You can go a little pin seeking with the waterfall in the background. I mean, that's about as good as it gets right there. You can actually see my ball just right of the flag, so I actually hit a pretty good one.
Yeah, so we're pretty wet right here, but it's still not casual water. I got no water coming up in my feet. I'm going to play it as it lies. Generally, I know a lot of folks would just play it up in this situation, but got some mud on my ball hitting a wedge, and I kind of, was just curious to see what the ball does with this one. The mud is in the back of the ball mostly, but it's kind of scattered all over it. In the back of the ball, the only thing you might have issue with is contact. So obviously if you have junk between the club face and the ball, that could impact what happens with the ball. But general rule is if there's more mud on the right side of the ball will go left. And if there's more mud on the left side of the ball will go right. So I'm not going to play for any deviation in the flight. I'm just going to play for kind of center of the green here to make sure that even if I don't get good contact on it because of the mud, that I get it somewhere around the hole. So
Now,
I'm hitting my 130 club. Not quite full here. 90%.
now, are you distracted by the picturesque waterfall that's in the background?
Always am. But you know what? It's a good distraction. So.
Well, hit a good one here. I got a birdie putt, so I at least have bogey in the bag. It's actually falling right towards the pin.
Okay.
Oh yeah, good one.
Yeah, it worked out pretty good.
So good birdie putt for Rob, birdie putt for me. We get to putt with a waterfall. I mean, other than it getting 6 inches of rain in the last week, I think all in all we're doing pretty good out here.
Yeah, this is a great hole to take a nap on. All right, Pete's here about 25 feet from the hole. Yeah, again, a good shot from there.
You know, the reality of it is the greens have been rolling, tremendously. We have had 6 inches of rain over the last week or so. It's been hot, then cold, and hot, then cold. So I had this. I mean, it's already a pretty big uphill putt. I think the old wise tale of golf is everything pulls towards whatever water feature there is. So I think this is going to be a lot slower than what I think it's going to be. So I'm going to make sure I try to at least get it to the hole. I will say this is my favorite green on the golf course. But between the river, the waterfall, I don't think you can get much better than this. So, but my goal right here is at least get it to the hole. And like I figured, it was slow. I did not get it to the hole, but all in all, par on this hole is not too terrible. And you kind of got to look at your conditions a little bit. Like I said, we've had a bunch of rain. It was an uphill putt, feeding towards the water. I was right when I said it was going to be slower than I thought. I just couldn't get my mind and body to match up with the speed, but. Rob's got a birdie putt, possibly go 3 up on me, which never good. So we'll see what he's got. So Rob has about 8 feet for birdie, but great wedge shot in here, Rob. Good play.
Yeah, thank you. I got it right.
And he's got a little bit. So like the wise tale of, do you think the water's going to pull it towards the water feature? Do you play this, what you see?
So it's pretty, the thing about golf in the mountains or foothills is a lot of times the architects are smart enough to design the green features the green complexes to negate a lot of the slope. But still, over time, if you look over this way and you look that way, like really, really high to really, really low, generally speaking, all things considered, you could assume that everything's going to want to feed towards this hazard. So this putt I've had before, and I know it kind of does try to go left, but not much because it is up on the far side of the green. It is a little flatter this way. And they've actually done a good job with this green complex in building it up to where it does kind of negate the slope. So it doesn't really pull towards the water like you would think it would, but it does try to go that way.
And while Rob's getting ready to make this putt and go 3 up on me, just from here you can tell how much of a undulation change. We were hitting our second shots from way up there, and it is a good do you say, 100 feet down? How many feet down do you think that is? Close?
Well, yeah, close to it, I think, from the top of that hill.
So it is definitely a golf shot making hole. Maybe is the way to put it. So you got to make sure that you take all surroundings into account with this. But I'm trying to stall Rob so he doesn't make this putt and go 3 up on me. But if he does win a hole, I'd rather him with a birdie than par like he did before. Just missed to the left, so he doesn't look happy. Doesn't look happy, but you know what? Par. Still 2 down. Good hole, Rob.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I fully
committed. I was gonna say I think you just kind of babied that one, and
yeah, it's the greens aren't fast enough to hit a putt like that. I should have been a little more aggressive and just ran it in. Like I said, it does break to the left. The softer you hit it, the more it's gonna wander offline. So should have been more aggressive and just put it in the back of the hole. And see if you do that, it doesn't break.
So we figured there would be no better way. I know you're about to laugh. We're on a date. Look at that.
Yeah, it's just we're
like Forrest Gump here. Like Forrest Gump. Golf's like a box of chocolates, Rob.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah, you never know what lie you get, but
that's right.
We figured there would be no better view to end the hole number 5 than the waterfall behind us. Yep, there we go.
Feature it, frame it.
Yep. So thoughts on number 5? I personally like 5. I mean, I've had some high scores, I've had some decent scores, but all in all, that golf hole I think is a really good golf hole.
I love hole 5. I think it's tough. If you get out of position, you have to scramble to get back in position. And if you get out of position and don't get back in position, then you're looking at a big number. So if you hit good golf shots, you're going to be fine on that hole. It's just about managing the hole correctly, making a good swing off the tee, and then hitting the second shot in the right spot.
Yeah, I mean, and I got out of position my second shot. You got kind of out of position on your first shot, but we kind of pulled it together and made sure we gave ourselves par opportunity. You had a really good birdie look.
Yeah, I had a great birdie putt. I'm still kind of shaking my head about that one.
We were just talking about it. It's weather's been pretty crazy. It's been freezing cold, which made the greens go kind of dormant, and then we've had humid 70-degree rainy weather, which caused them to grow a little bit.
We were walking off the green. We're actually seeing grass growing and turning green on the side slope in December, which is unusual to say the least. But
yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to our YouTube page, and we are giving away pretty much the farm. So we said basically every little tier we get to, we'll give away. We've already given away a stealth driver, spider putter. We just hit the 200 subscriber mark, so I think we're going to do a couple dozen Bridgestone balls next, and eventually I'll probably get fired for giving all this stuff away. So congratulations, you're the new GM.
Oh, stop.